Welcome back to the Old Bull and Young Calf Boston Sports Podcast. And we are hopefully, I don't know if we're going to have one before the season, but this might be one of the last podcasts before we are talking about actual game action. A lot of the noise has been cut out. There's going to be roster cut downs, some interest there. We actually have some players that we may want to see, on this roster. There might be some tough decisions, and that's new for us. This has not happened to us for the last couple of years, but we're excited to talk about those with preseason game 3 on the horizon here. Dad, anything you want to touch on? We usually do sponsors. You want to do sponsors?
No sponsors.
No sponsors.
We'll revisit.
Come
We'll
on.
revisit that when we start the regular season. So
All right.
tonight, a lot of people don't consider it a big night. There are decisions that are made based on how well a player plays tonight. So there are your typical locks, guys who are automatically going to make the team. There's no question about it. And there's a lot of guys that Vrabel pretty much knows are going to make the team, but don't think there aren't a handful that Vrabel's like, I'm still on the fence. Let me see how they perform in one more game. And, it's going to be pretty telling. If you see a guy out there who you thought was definitely on the team playing tonight, that might mean that they're not a lock. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. And I think one of the benefits of having a new coach in here is a lot of these crappy draft picks are going to probably get sent out the door maybe a little bit sooner than they would have if the coach was a part of the drafting them. And, one of the things we talked about going into this show was discussing some players that we think are teetering that you should really keep an eye on for this preseason game if you're going to be watching for anything. And I'll start us off. And I think the biggest surprise, especially after the start of this week, there was talk about Javon Baker, right? The guy who is going to make people in wheelchairs stand up last year.
Not a great quote.
My dad and I tried our best to have some hype for this guy going into the season, and he totally flopped. My dad and I had almost the same receiving stats for the Patriots as he did last year, and we weren't even on the team. And he is suiting up tonight because he was injured early this week. All the reports is that he's been injured. I think at this point, him and his agent are aware that he is playing for his life. So I would not be surprised if we don't see Javon Baker out there. I mean, he hasn't even really made an impact in this preseason against second, third string guys. So I think he's one to watch out for tonight. Is he going to have a big game? How much of a game does he need to have? I think he has to have an Efton Chisholm type game like Efton had last game to stay
Absolutely.
in contention.
Yeah, I mean, how are you liking this Javon Baker and Polk experience? Polk, that flipping bum, he was even worse than Baker last year. So he's gone. You don't see it next year already for Polk. And Baker, there had been some positive buzz coming out of camp, but then he just completely nullifies it last week with a couple drops and just a terrible performance against, like you said, Matt, backups. So the only shot that dude has of sniffing this roster is if he just looks like Calvin Johnson out there tonight. That's the only thing that's going to save him. Otherwise, it's just not happening. He's going to be cut, put on the practice squad. I can't imagine anyone claiming him because keep in mind, people, to claim somebody who's been cut, you have to put them on your actual roster. Someone gets to the Patriots practice squad, they're locked into the Patriots practice squad unless another team is willing to take that player and put him on the actual roster.
Absolutely no one is doing that with Javon Baker. Yeah.
I
Javon
can't
Baker,
imagine.
9 targets this preseason, 9 targets, 7 targets last game. They tried most targets out of everybody. 1 catch for 13 yards, an absolute embarrassment. Dad, I know I didn't prompt this, but do you have an offensive player on top of Javon Baker to look out for? Or did you have somebody else in mind you want to get you?
Hasty's the guy. They're going to probably really run him hard to see if he makes the team. Personally, I only want to go with 3 running backs. I think they're fine, the 3 they have. If Larison was still on the team, I'd probably want him to protect him because I thought he showed some good potential in the one game he played, but he's out for the year. Hasty, I don't think you'll have any problems getting him to the practice squad because how much are you going to play him with our three running backs who are all pretty good? Stevenson fumbles, he better not fumble this year because let me tell you, there's a new sheriff in town. It's not Mayo, and you have one absolute stud behind you who is still an F, by the way, drafted. Patriots get an F for that.
He's
Travian Henderson pick.
the fastest player so far this preseason is Travion Henderson. He clocked the
Still have an F.
fastest speed out of
Sure.
anybody this preseason.
Yep.
I'm just
Yep.
saying.
I know. So, yeah, I think Hasty is one of them. The third tight end, it's looking like Westover has got the edge over the other guys. It's a shame because they spent some big undrafted free agent money on Dupree, and he's been just like a nothing burger. Guy, they drafted last year, Bell,
Naheem Bell, yep.
nothing, absolutely nothing. So last year's draft class, like we mentioned last show, can completely get cut with the exception of Drake May. That is a very real possibility. But
No,
keep an eye on City. So that's a guy where your old man likes to watch offensive line play. He wasn't that bad last game. He was actually pretty good. And look for him to see if he's with the starters tonight, if they bench like the regular offensive lineman. I'm not sure. We haven't got word on who the starters is yet. If Bradbury's playing, that's a great sign. I hope he is playing, and I hope he's been as bad as he's been all camp, so they actually cut him. Get that guy off my roster. I want nothing to do with him. Worst rated center in the league last year, according to Pro Football Focus, and it has showed. He almost got Drake May's knees taken out via Tom Brady 2008 last week. It wasn't spotted by anyone because May just got rid of it, so the camera just moved to the side, but that dude got his knocked on his butt right at Drake May's feet. Luckily, we avoided a catastrophe. Get Bradbury out of here.
Yep. No, I totally agree, and I think Mike Reese, kudos to him. Gonna credit him here. He put out a really tough, kind of tough, and not that tough roster expectation, and he actually has Bradbury as one of the locks. And Mike Reese is at these camps. He's probably the first one in, gets a great spot. So he must see something with Bradbury that gives him the impression that whether you want him on the roster or not, that guy's probably going to make the team. He does list some of these guys though that were pre-Vrabel era draft picks, and there's this kind of battle for the last three spots, and he's implying that Ben Brown and Marcus Bryant on top of Oweno, Bradbury, Jared Wilson, and Will Campbell Moses is going to round out the top seven for linemen. And you got guys like Caden Wallace, right? Layden Robinson. These guys were supposed to be the answer, according to Elliot Wolf. The left tackle of the future is in that locker room. He felt like he did enough, and now here they are on the block, possibly getting bounced after just 1 year on the roster. So again, look out for those guys. I'm really curious. When do we see Caden Wallace? Is Caden Wallace playing the fourth quarter? Fourth quarter is pretty much doomsday in the final game of the preseason. I know you have to put somebody out there, but it's not a good sign if you're out there in the late fourth quarter during these games.
Couple great points by you there, Matt. Absolutely. Like, have you heard the saying, an embarrassment of riches? We have an embarrassment of trash. Okay, as far as offensive linemen, guys who are drafted high and are not just doing anything.
Strange.
Cole Strange is another guy. Caden Wallace is a good one to look out for. A lot of people still have him on the team just because he was a third-round pick last year. He played in the fourth quarter last week. Like, I haven't heard anything positive about him, and I think you're right. I don't know if he makes this team, and that is the kiss of death, Matt. The last preseason game, you're playing in the fourth quarter. You might want to call your real estate agent and start making arrangements to move. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so it sounds like your Christmas list guy to get off this team today, or at least after this game, is Bradbury. For me, on the offense, my Christmas list guy would have to be Cole Strange. I understand he's probably going. I'm probably going to get my present. My dad's most likely not going to get his present, but Cole Strange has been. I mean, ever since Tom Brady left, it's really felt like we're almost Jets fans because we're kind of the laughing stock of the NFL. Cole Strange getting drafted and Sean McVay laughing out loud during an interview when he saw who he
Literally.
drafted and then trying to cover for himself saying, "Oh yeah, it's actually that was so embarrassing." Um this that he's a black eye on the organization and he needs to go. Now, we go over and also what I should say as for this offensive line, I was listening to sports radio this week and I heard from Chris Gasper that both of these things can be true. The offensive line can be improved and it can still suck. And I think that is very true this season. The offensive line has improved, but the baseline was so astronomically trash. So before we go over to the defense stat and talk about players to look out for over there, do you have any thoughts on this offensive line going into game 3?
Yeah, so I heard that from Gasper, and he's absolutely right. I've also said that as well. We need this offensive line to be middle of the pack, not 20th, 23rd. We really need it to be around 15, especially having a young quarterback who's probably going to need an extra split second, to make a decision. That's crucial. I do have some good news. I mean, it was against backups, so he's supposed to do that. But Will Campbell looked awesome last week.
He did.
Awesome. Which is exactly what you're supposed to do against backups. So that's encouraging, and I'm absolutely pissed. And it nothing to do with the Patriots. It's not their fault. These friggin' other teams, man, who won't play any starters. We got nothing to gauge anything on. The only thing we have are reports out of camps with joint practices, but it's still not the same because they're not full-fledged hitting, going at it 100%. I guess it helps with minimizing injuries. But man, I would have liked to have seen, Washington or, what, who the hell did we play last week? You know,
Vikings.
play your damn starters for a series or two, so we can see it. And we didn't have it, but Will Campbell was a man amongst boys last week, like you're supposed to against backups. So that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Morgan
And
Moses, they're giving him the full veteran treatment. So I'm not worried about him. Be on the lookout for 52 tonight. 52, Marcus Bryant. That's our guy. Big Jeff Task is in the chat.
what's
That
up,
is,
Jeff?
he's the one who turned Marcus Bryant on to me because he was like, wait a minute. Membu's getting all this attention for being the best right tackle and best offensive lineman in the draft. Who's the guy at left tackle that he couldn't take that job from? And I'm like, huh. I watched Membu's highlight reel, and instead of watching him, I watched Marcus Bryant, and I like what he saw. He is a prototypical built left tackle. He has plenty of arm length, plenty of size, plenty of height. His decision making is a little slow, and his feet are a little slow. If he doesn't get to be our future left tackle with God, I almost said with Will Campbell being the best left guard in the league, it's going to be because his feet aren't fast enough and he's not great at mid-play adjustments. Like I don't have anyone to block and finding someone to block right away. So he struggles with things like that.
Yep. And we got Jeff. Jeff mentioned, we went back to the McVay laughing at us. Night interview happened live. Yeah, it did happen live, Jeff. And then
Yep.
he tried to like play it off and make us not feel bad because he knows we're sensitive Patriots fans. And the line is better, like we said, but still a work in progress. Got to get that tackle next year. I don't know where we're going to end up in the draft, but it
They can
would
only
be
go up. I mean, it was
yeah,
the worst line in the league last year, but
yeah. And
like
I
Yasta
think
said, you can't be like 23rd. That's not going to get much done.
so. Like you said, Dad, it's frustrating that he's not facing ones, but Pro Football Focus has Will Campbell head and shoulders above every other rookie tackle that has played any snaps this preseason. He's the best pass blocker. He's the best run blocker by all margins according to Pro Football Focus. Tonight, they're facing a Giants team that does look like they play their defensive starters. Thibodeau had a few tackles last game. Abdul Carter had a few tackles last game. I don't know how much we're going to see it. Brian Burns had a few tackles last game. It'd be great to see him against one of those speed guys on the edge. Like you said, one series. That's all we're asking for. And I think it'll give us a good impression. And hopefully by the end of the year, we're like, hey, Will Campbell's got it. He's going to be fine. This is all good. But we'll see. And I mean, he's definitely better than Verdi and Lowe. He's better than all those guys so far. So he's like something to be excited about.
What did I say in the first preseason game was my ideal perfect situation? Starting line out there, Drake May off the field. Josh Dobbs taking 5, 7-step drop backs, plays where you need time so I can see what the offensive line looks like when you're asking Will Campbell against a starter to block for 3 or 4 seconds. Can he do it? If he can't do it, I don't want May getting blindsided and injured. So I'm hoping they do that tonight. I don't know, Matt. You're better with me if you're looking at who's starting, who's playing or not. If you
Nothing is coming up on who's playing or not.
Yeah, everything's like cloak
I'm
and
on Mike
dagger. It's
Reese.
very, very frustrating. So that's my ideal situation. The starting offensive line plays for a series. They're taking shots down the field, and it's with Dobbs dropping back deep. You're needing time. See what the offensive line looks like, preferably without Bradbury in there. If you see
Washington,
Bradbury,
Minnesota rested 30 top guys each. And Pats
Washington
played
did
starters.
the same thing. Yeah, Jeff.
I
It's
don't know.
infuriating.
Is that the way it is around the league? Because like just looking at it, the Giants are actually playing their guys. They have played their guys. We'll see if they stay on that. Jeff, I don't know if you've watched any other games, but the amount of even like second year quarterbacks who are getting no snaps, like Jaden Daniels, nothing. Like I get he had a good year, but he didn't play once in that first game. I think he played in the second game. It's kind of confusing. I don't know what that's all about. You know, even against the Washington, I think it was the Washington Redskins, they said they wanted to absolutely no one-on-one drills. Like, how crazy is that? Where's the competition, the preseason? I understand they're watering this stuff down for player safety and blah, blah, blah. But the competition is just going out the window at this point. It's kind of an embarrassment.
I'm hoping that this benefits the Patriots. You're right, Matt, that we come out of the gate better, win game one, because we're playing starters. Unfortunately, I think Oakland is also playing their starters. So, and that's who not Oakland, sorry, Vegas. And that's who we're squaring off against. I'd feel much better if we were playing a team that was, like you said, resting everyone, not playing anyone in these games. But Oakland is playing. Vegas is playing starters, which is unfortunate. But still, hopefully, we get out of the gate fast. Matt, let's jump to defense for a little bit. And you know, Jennings. I'll start with Jennings. Good guy, hard worker. Like he's one of those guys where Belichick overdrafted him. That dude is not a second round pick or worthy player. And he just fights hard to get everything he has out of his ability, which isn't a lot of ability. I still want him gone. They benched him tonight, which is a good sign. It's a good play by Vrabel because he had 3 sacks in one half last week. So the hope is that got him some trade value, and you can dump his salary and get a 6th or 7th round pick for him. Him, Tavai, Duggar.
Duggar's a big one.
All of them I want traded for a 7th round pick. I'm not picky. I'm not asking for something ridiculous like a lot of people. Like, can we get a 4th? No, dude. 4th round picks are valuable. I'll take a 7th round pick and dump as much of their salary as possible. Tavai, bum. Anthony Jennings, good, solid player. We got better young edges who have more upside. Get Jennings out of here. Duggar speaks for itself. I've been on that bandwagon for years that he is an overrated bum. Get him out of there. Overpaid. Want him off my team. Cannot
You're the
cover
man, Jeff.
me with a bad back.
You're the man, Jeff. We love you. Thank you, man. And Jeff, if there's anybody, Jeff, on this roster, it's like your Christmas like present of getting cut, let us know. And we got also P. I want Wolf gone. I don't know if Wolf's gonna make the 53-man roster. I'm pretty sure he's kind of a lock,
Yeah,
Pete. So I am sorry that makes two of us. So my Christmas present would be Jelani Tavai off this roster. I understand, leading tackler last year, probably a big part of this team. But the words out of his mouth last year, blaming the fans for being spoiled, basically telling us to shut up and just watch them play in the midst of another embarrassing season, showed me all I needed to know about that guy's competitive spirit and what he is as a player. I would love to see him gone. I will take any backward slide of whoever you would put in his place to see that loser gone, Jelani Tavai.
absolutely. I agree with you. And Pete's right about Elliot Wolf. Everyone wants to focus on his absolute dumpster juice draft last year. He doesn't take anywhere near enough heat for those atrocious signings, bringing players back, giving Duggar that disgusting contract, Tavai that disgusting. This happened last season, people. Wolf signed Duggar, Tavai, Owenu to all these disgusting. And I think Jennings might have been the year before. Awful contracts, like cap killing contracts. Even though our cap's in good space, it would be even much better space without those guys. Because whatever money we have this year that we don't spend, we can transfer that to cap space the next year. So thank you, Elliot Wolf, you bum. Not only can't you draft, you can't even, you know, evaluate your own players and give them proper contracts.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
because of that, we're going to have a lot of dead money when these guys get cut.
you forgot another bad contract, Devon Godshaw, last
Oh,
July, two
oh,
year, $18 million contract. What's up, Rob? Hey, Rob, thanks for commenting, man. I don't know who you're talking about as a clown, but there's a handful of them. Okay, we
you
got a
must
whole
be
circus
talking
going
about
on.
Wolf. I love
Yeah.
Rob. Rob and I used to coach Little League together.
Oh,
So he
heck yeah.
probably maybe he remembers you, Matt, but I think he might have came after you. But Rob's a
Yeah.
great guy. Love him. And
Yeah, Rob.
yeah,
Ellie
yeah,
Wolf
yeah,
is a clown. He blames all the
yeah,
people that got fired. He throws them under the bus. I believe you forgot Godshaw. See, yeah.
yeah,
If
yeah,
anybody was going to remember the travesty that was Devon Godshaw, he helped us be one of the most embarrassing run defenses in the league while getting paid all that money.
yeah.
Pete would be that guy, and you're
We were
totally right, Pete.
offended. Yeah, we were all offended when Gottschalk got those 2 contracts. It was absolutely disgusting. And Rob, you're right. Effing Chisholm, the only reason why we're not talking about him, that dude's in.
It's a
He is
lock.
absolutely in. He's on the roster. And, I hope they don't treat him like a 6 wide receiver. I hope they give
Give him
him
an
some
actual
snaps.
shot.
Give him 10 snaps a game against Vegas and see how he does. So, is he Edelman 2.0? I'd rather have Edelman 2.0 over Welker 2.0 any day of the week. Edelman 100 times out of 100 over Welker. Edelman's a big game player. Welker was a tough little Patriot who was a choker. But anyway,
So I don't know if you saw Edelman's podcast, but Edelman was asked by Tom Curran who Chisholm reminds him of, and it's actually Danny Amendola, which I agree. I don't think he's an Edelman. Edelman, I feel like is one of a kind. Like nobody can get open like Edelman. Chisholm, I think similar. Like Danny Amendola, I think is the play. Super hustle, not the diva with the lack of skill that you saw with Polk or Baker. This guy is a dog. Like you said, he's going to be on the Wolf must have the massage parlor video. Why else is he here? Oh yeah, Jeff, he probably was in there with like one of those old camcorders for crafts.
yeah.
Uh,
DeVone Mitchell, guy I played football with in high school.
what's up?
Awesome guy. Love you, DeVone. Yeah,
What's up,
another
Rob?
thing you can't really teach Devon. Devon is your head, right? That dude just has a knack for finding open spaces in the middle of the field. Chisholm, Edelman had it. Welker had it. Troy Brown had it. It's hard to teach that, and he has a feel for finding the soft spot in the zone, which is absolutely crucial because he does have good quick moves. He doesn't have straightaway speed. He's about as fast straightaway as the old bull. He's not going to be catching any bombs, but man, his lateral quickness, ability to stop and start is elite.
Yep. I hope he gets an Edelman shot. Do they have him returning anything? I don't know if they had him back there. I know it's Marcus
He did
Jones on punts. I
he
don't know if
did
maybe
one,
towards the
and I
end.
think he had to fair catch it.
Okay.
And I think it
But
was one where he got tackled pretty quickly because there just wasn't much blocking up front.
Welker was a good foot soldier. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't believe he got benched for that, but I mean, whatever. And
Uh,
I don't know if you heard this, Dad, but they were talking about how Javon Baker's real chance of staying on this team is as a gunner. I guess they've been using him as a gunner in the special teams game. So maybe
You
he
know how I
stays
am
on that
about
way.
that. Get those special teams Bill Belichick players out of my face. I I don't even want Schooler on the team, and he's like an elite special teams player. I get it. I got to put up with a couple, but give me young, talented players like young who have a ceiling at that position, a vital position, and let them just play special teams. Because the rules have made it so it's almost out of the game. Although the change they've made with the kickoffs is going to bring some impact special teams plays back because nobody wants to give the ball up on the 35-yard line to the other team. So they're trying now to actually have real kickoffs. So it could factor in special team specialist, but I'm so burned from Belichick spending real cap money, real dollars on special team players and having too many of them, always having more in the league than any other damn team. It was infuriating. It's like, dude, the game's behind you. It's not 1980 anymore. Take your one special team guy like Slater, keep him, and get the other bums out of here. That linebacker he brought in that one time and paid
Yeah.
him $4 million. Get the hell out of here. It was
Pete said he
completely
likes
invisible.
Efton Chisholm far better than Bill Chisholm. Do you know who Bill Chisholm is?
Chisholm, the freaking Celtics new owner. I think that's who he's talking about. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Pete hates all the owners. They're all on a list. That
Oh
is for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, Pete. We're in a group chat, and Pete is like salty fire. That man just hates them all.
Yep. Having good
Good
special
middle of the
teams is like
relay
having
baseball. It's a good Big Jeff with a good analogy there. Absolutely. It's like, but Jeff, your special team should consist of young players who aren't starting, but have high ceilings to potentially start at real positions. That's who it should. There should be no safeties like who only they'll never could be a starting safety. There's no shot of that. They're just going to play special teams. You got school of that one guy, and that's it. Baker, I want to get rid of guys like that. If Baker has no shot of being a wide receiver and only a special teams player, I don't want him on the team. Give me another wide receiver who can play special teams and is a potential future actual receiver. That's the guys I want.
no, I completely agree. And you know what's funny is that the last few years we've actually had such a bad special teams like execution. Like it's
Oh,
been and I'm not just talking about the
well,
past 2 years.
last year was pretty good, Matt. But the
Even
2 years before it were
yeah,
disastrous.
in
Absolute
Belichick's
disaster.
last year, like we
Oh,
still couldn't do anything on special teams. And then
no.
and
No.
then Joe Judge found his way back into our, into our hearts and managed to piss on us a little bit more. Just overall, what an embarrassing few years. Hopefully this will all feel like a fever dream starting in a couple weeks and it'll be back to actual competitive football every single week, something to look forward to, not embarrassment to look forward to. And I think this roster does give me some amount of hope. One thing I would love to see is some actual wide receiver play. Our wide receivers have
Yeah.
been really quiet these first two games. Very like in a scary way, they've been quiet.
Well,
Pete talking about
Kyle Williams was on his way to having a good game last week until Dobbs got him killed with that atrocious throw. Sorry,
yeah.
Matt. Go ahead.
No, we got Pete like a good wide receiver like Lad McConkey. I mean,
Oh, you just triggered Matt. You just triggered Matt. Here we go.
how do you feel, Patriots fans? We go into this season with Lad McConkey on this roster, and we have Joe Thuney at left guard next to Will Campbell. How do you feel? You feel so much better. And I mean, Lad McConkey, I
Yeah.
know.
You mean the guy who was right there and we could have taken him, but we traded back a few spots and took Polk instead? What's wrong with
Yeah.
that?
I mean, seriously, it's absolutely Lad McConkey is going to be one of the biggest what ifs for us for quite some time because he was the prototypical guy when it came to excellent route runner, great hands, winner. And for some reason, we said, you know what? Give us that contested catch, second best wide receiver on his team guy in Polk. I don't know why or how or what's in the water at Foxborough. Why'd you do this, Pete? Polk and Baker for those picks. Pete, I don't know what you're doing.
He's
The
killing us.
graphic of Polk and Baker's career stats next to Lad McConkey's individual game stats against us, where he put up like 200 yards, compared to Polk and Baker's entire season, is like actual nightmare fuel for me. I check under my bed for that graphic because it is scary.
And we're gonna officially hire Jeff Taska as a producer of the show, our manager. He's gonna take
Yes.
care of us. He's giving us shouts out. That's right, YouTube. Put us in the algorithm. What is that algorithm thing?
The algorithm thing.
I'm an old guy and I know about that. Bump us up in the algorithm, YouTube. Be better. Okay, be better.
Yes. Yeah.
Appreciate
you, Jeff.
Third best McMillan was better than Poe. Oh, remember the other McMillan linebacker for just special teams too that Belichick kept around forever, who kept getting injured every year. Like, oh, I'm starting to get flashbacks. And
we will miss
how did
Lad for
Belichick
years.
look today in that article? I don't want to. Oh my God, dude, Bill, seriously, man, are you trying to make all of us hate you? Like, what are you doing? I don't want to talk about that though. Sorry, I even brought it up.
I didn't even read the article.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't even get to read the article. So big game, 8:00 Prime Video. I don't want to get into this too much, but they make this incredibly hard. Being a NFL fan, I mean, how do you watch these?
NFL Prime, right, to be able to watch it? You don't have to pay for it.
I don't know what the frick we need. I used to be. You turn on the TV, it was on channel 4 and channel 6, and that was it. And you moved on with your life. Now it's. I feel like I'm doing calculus to watch these freaking games. It's so frustrating.
Oh, it's terrible. You used to be able to pay $100 a year, and I used to be able to watch you pick one team. So I'd watch all Patriots games. NFL Plus used to do this, $100. Nope, all gone. If I want to watch the Patriots down here legally, I have to do it. I have to buy $500 Sunday ticket. It's disgusting. But man, that cornerback's playing, I think, tonight. Hopefully,
DJ.
DJ, really high on him. Him and Austin have looked good. I like Carlton Davis, but he makes me nervous. His injury history. I'm not as nervous now about Carl Davis having those two guys to be able to step in. So I definitely feel better about our cornerback situation. And I don't want to, again, our depth's not great. I want to stop hearing people say our roster's trash. I've been hearing that again. Our roster's not trash. Our roster is much better this year than it was last year. It's hugely upgraded. I see a lot of good to great starters out there, where last year it was bums to average starters everywhere. So there's no excuse for the Patriots. They have, well, I shouldn't say there's no excuse. They have the talent. They have the coaching now. You got to give them a bit of a pass if it doesn't all come together in one off season, because you're literally talking about, I think, like 11 new starters the last time I checked. And that is hard to transfer with an entirely new coaching staff. But really, the tools and the building blocks are there for the team to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I had it like that. Bit Jeff, just channel 5, nice and easy. Even get Scott Zolak, that'd be even better. Yeah, Cole Strange is awesome, Dad. My dad, Pete totally understood everything you're saying. He translated it. What you're trying to say is Cole Strange is a stud, and so. Pete, I'm glad you understood what my dad was going in there with his little rant about how awesome this roster is. While we have $59 million in cash sitting there on a second-year rookie quarterback deal. I cannot believe
Cole will probably be gone too. Don't worry about it. That freaking guy, another one. Holy cow!
The fact that we have, I honestly, I want Robert Kraft taken up on charges. I think he's actually stealing from us by not spending that $59 million. I cannot believe we are not going out and getting Hendrickson. We are not going out and spending big, because we can sign pretty much anybody for crazy numbers for the next 2 years and be just fine.
Word has it that McLaurin, they want a first round pick. These teams want first round picks for Hendrickson, and I don't want to give up that. I just, even though I'm projecting our first round picks not going to be like as high as it's been the last couple of years, I don't want to give up a first round pick for a 30-year-old dude who you're going to have to pay as well. I don't want that. No. Yeah. And same thing with McLaurin. He's 31 years old, Matt.
So here's the thing, right? So Jeff just it's much better than going from butt, as Pepper said, to mediocre. Oh, and by the way, I absolutely love Pepper said that because that's what I want to hear from the team, not Jelani Tavai, stroking his own ego and trying to say Peppers called them what they were. They were trash, and the NFL cheat code is having good young QB on a rookie deal. Yep, Pete, that's completely right. And one thing I will say to my dad about that is you can't drink the media Kool-Aid. Somebody's telling the media, oh, they want something crazy. They want something crazy. You don't know which side it's coming from. There's almost no way that's true. First rounders do not go for these guys. They know that like it's all smoke and mirrors. Every time you ever see anything like this, they always go for a third, fourth, fifth round pick. It's just the way it goes.
Let me just say something real quick because I'm a call it like it is guy. Pete Kraft could spend $1 billion every year on the players going forward, and he would still hate Kraft. Pete's just salty and he
That's not
holds a
true.
grudge. He's a typical
That's not true.
Boston guy. Kraft did his job this offseason. He spent more money than any other team ever has in NFL history. If they have a lot of cap space left and it rolls over to next year, let's see if he spends again. You can't. I'm sorry, he did his job this offseason. As much as I and you guys know, I used to crap on Kraft and his cheapness. I was the first one leading the parade, but he did his job this offseason.
But the problem is he spent the most, but he also had the most, and he didn't spend as much as he could. And
No, he
we'll have to
didn't.
go. We'll have to go ahead and look up what this rollover stuff is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I feel like again we need Brad Stevens as the GM of the Patriots.
Brad
Seriously, Wolf.
Stevens is not walking through that door, Matt. Okay.
Wolf there since 2020, bad drafts, and Kraft defends him by saying, "Yeah, we changed our draft grading system." Yeah, draft grading system, my
No, he
butt.
didn't.
Not
No.
true because yes, thank you, Pete. Not true because he spent the least amount of money over the last 30 years. You cannot
I
make up for that.
know.
Cannot make
I
up for that.
know. Yes, I used to be the guy saying that too. But he did his job this past off season. He spent the most money in NFL history in free
There you
agency.
go, Pat. Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
There you go, Pete. You don't even have to, listen, Pete, you can do whatever you want to my dad, and then you just get him a box of chocolates, and he's like, yeah, I know, Pete, slashed my tires, but he did what he could right now, and he got me chocolates. And that's all. No, no, no. So listen, the game's starting. I
Ah,
told my wife
Keon
I'd
White
be
is
over.
playing. Why is Keon White playing? That's interesting. I see DJ is out there and
Do you want to
Farmer.
keep going, Dad? Because I have to drop.
Yeah, what is that? What is that? Oh, Peppers is out there. He just got burnt. Well, not burnt, but shaken on a tackle. Yeah, if you gotta go, go. I might stay on for a little bit.
Honestly, we'll always
What
love
is up
after
with
keeping the Pats
I
here,
feel
St.
like this
Louis
is a
otherwise.
new I feel like
You're
this
right,
is a new
Jeff.
development. Why is
Jeff,
Keon White playing? Sorry, go
And
ahead.
Jeff, and Jeff, I'm not saying I don't like Kraft. That'd be silly. It's frustrating to me that we're not spending more money with this rookie contract. If May is the quarterback of the future, we're not going to be able to spend money like we are this season for the next 15 plus years. So that's what's frustrating me. John Henry paid money for Bregman. All right, I'll leave you with that, Dad. Good luck. Let me know when you want me to end the broadcast. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I something's going on here. Well, I don't know why Peppers. I mean, I guess Peppers didn't play in the last game of the joint practices, so maybe they want to get Peppers just a few snaps in. I find it really odd that Keon White is playing right now. That guy's been healthy the entire training camp. He's played in all the games. He's played in joint practices, and here we are in scrub time, and every starter pretty much is on the bench except him. That is very interesting. So I don't know if something's up with that. That tells me they're secretly not happy with Keon White. Otherwise, he'd be on the sideline with the rest of the starters. So man, can anyone else tell me, is there Amazon Prime glitching? Mine is like glitching like crazy. It's like you guys said, like can't believe this. We can't just have these on regular TV now. Everything's gonna be a stupid streaming service. So let's see. Do I have anyone left in the chat? Can't tell. because I'm old and I'm bad with technology. All right, what do we have? 3rd and 6. And that long play, by the way, you can't put much stock in. It was a broken down play. Battles. You want to make the team battles. You have to make a play there, man. Yeah, I don't that long play I don't put much stock in. The play broke down. Dart scrambled for an hour, and eventually somebody got open, and that's just what happens. Yeah, no, I get listen, I'm not saying let Kraft you're right, Jeff. True though, you can't splurge 2 years and say you're not cheap. Agree. Last 30 years, Patch Stindy. Absolutely. And I'm not saying he's off the hook. I'm not saying if he spends next year he's off the hook. But all I'm saying is as long as he does his job going forward, I'm not gonna rip him. Doesn't mean he's not still cheap. He wasn't previously cheap, but okay, he did his job this year, so the old bull's going to be off his back this year because he did his job. Now, come next off season, if we have a bunch of cap space and we don't spend it on impact players when we're on the verge of being a Super Bowl contender, don't you worry. I'll be back on the Kraft is cheap bandwagon. I'll be driving that thing, leading the way, ranting about him all the time. So, I'm just saying the dude broke a record this year, spent the most money in NFL history on free agents. So, again, that doesn't, acquit him of the sins of his past and how cheap he was, but, he gets a pass from the old bull this year. That's fine, but let's not praise him till he consistently does it. No, 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 you're right, Pete. And I don't mean to sound like I'm praising him. I'm just saying he did his job this year. So I'm going to be off his back because he did his damn job. I might get back on it, Pete, if word comes down that they had a chance to get Hendrickson or McLaurin, and it turns out the player wanted too much money, and Kraft doesn't. That's part of Kraft decision. Then I'll be back on the he's cheap again. Jeff, I try to keep him. I do, and I can't be Pete DePadua. Pete DePadua, once you've scorned Pete, there's no forgiveness from him. That dude is never forgiving you ever. You're done. You're dead in his eyes once you've burned him once. If I'm gonna try to do a good podcast with my son, I can't do that. I have to call it like I see it. I have to be honest, and that means eating crow sometimes. And the old bull's eating a lot of crow on this show. I've gotten a ton of predictions correct, but man, I've eaten my share of crow as well, and I say it right on the air. Boy, was I wrong about this. Boy, was I wrong about that. Nope, never Pete. Pete is a typical Boston guy, salty to the end. Salty. He'll go to heaven and he'll be salty. That's for sure. Yep, Pete. For once in 30 years, he did his job. He did. And again, he doesn't acquit him. Does not acquit him for all those years he was cheap. But I'm going to be off his back this year. Where I used to rant about his spending almost every, Patriots show last year. So I'm just not going to do that this year. Taking the year off from it. Like I said, unless we had a big trade and it turns out money and Kraft's cheapness is what squashed it, then I'll be back on his back. So, but here we go. Patriots offense coming out. Let's see what they do. I'm hoping starting offensive line with Dobbs in there. That's what I hope. It's probably not going to happen. Vrabel is smarter than me. He doesn't think the way I do, but that's what I'm rooting for. I want to see how Will Campbell, holds up against starters, but it didn't look like the Giants had starters in for the offense. So I'd be shocked if they, no. So oh God, we don't even get Dobbs in there. We got Woldridge playing the whole game. Man, what happens if he goes down early? You're gonna have to tell Dobbs, like, get warmed up, kid. All right, Big Jeff, but who did the the money job through? Vrabel or Wolf or media pressure? So Jeff, I used to say, like, there's no way Kraft could get away with being cheap again like this offseason. Last year, I actually said another prediction that came true. I said, I'm telling you, I said to Pete and my son, Kraft is going to spend this offseason. Not because he wants to, but because the media and the fans have blasted him so bad for being cheap. He has no choice with all that cap space but to spend. I don't know if you guys remember those shows last year. That was one of my big takes that came true. So, Jeff, it was the pressure. It wasn't because Kraft wasn't like, you know what? I'm tired of losing. I'm going to spend some money. No, that wasn't the case. He just was. He was hearing it from the media, the fans. Everybody was sick of it. These awful garbage rosters, and he had no choice but to spend. Pete, it's always a what you have done for me lately. Yep, that is a Massachusetts mentality. We are an incredible sports market every year. We should be in a position to contend for a title. Absolutely, completely agree. You don't win a championship, you're a loser. That's all there is to it. I don't care if the Bruins, who I'm picking to contend for the number one pick, be the worst team in the league. They don't win a champ. Even if they make it to the cup next year and lose, bad season. You suck. You lost. You didn't complete it. As far as I'm concerned, every Boston team, you get held to the same standard because we're a big market who could spend money on good GMs, good coaching, and spending to the cap should be mandatory. And yeah, so never winning is not an excuse. You need to win every year, as far as I'm concerned. Otherwise, that season's a complete fail. I don't care what your expectations are. Big Jeff, hey YouTube, there's a reason we stay with Opal and Young Cav. We've been stuck on, I think, 124 subscribers forever. So YouTube's not exactly spreading the word about us because we are not gaining new users, but we don't care. We love our loyal crowd. My son and I have fun doing it. And sometimes we get a bunch of people chime in. Sometimes we get next to nobody. We don't care. We love you guys. And it's just great when you guys jump in. And we are going to be doing a pregame and postgame show once the regular season starts, and hopefully they put a good winning product out there. And, we will get more subscribers from that, I would think. I would hope. So, yep. Pete, yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, Pete. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm gonna be off his back this year. I'm not praising him by any stretch. That old senile fart still thinks like he's a big reason why we were like great for 20 years. Like, no, Kraft. You made one great decision. You hired Belichick, which led to a domino effect of getting Brady on this team. And ultimately, Brady was the golden goose who was really by far the biggest reason for all of the success. Patriots' best player was just on the field, Bryce Behringer. I hope not. I hope those days are behind us, because that would be the case, Pete. Bryce Behringer was like the best player on our team pretty much the last 2 years. So hopefully those days are over. So what we got going on here? Yep. So it's all backups in tonight. Let me see if is Keon White still out there? That's a big deal to me. He's still out there. I find that so bizarre. Marcus Jones is still out there. He's like our slot receiver. Maybe he's about to get passed by Austin. Good job. Good sticky covers there, Woodson. There's Doug's replacement, Woodson. Good job by the rookie. This kid made almost a perfect pass, which was absolutely needed because Woodson was on his butt. And he still made a play at the end. Nice. Good job there, kid. Oh, someone 54. What's his name? Jones. The other guy getting held. He's not sleeping to make the team. We said a couple weeks ago. So that's just blowing my mind that Keon White's in this game. I don't know. There's got to be something behind that. Is Peppers still out there? Peppers was surprisingly on the first with the starters. Looks like Peppers out. Hopefully he didn't hurt himself when he got turned around there on that last game. He looked like he got twisted up like a pretzel on that long play. No, Peppers is out there. I saw number 5, so he's fine. Oh, you got to turn around. Battle. Turn around, dude. Oh, my God. Jeff, Pete, do you remember Patriots cornerbacks back in the late, like after 2007 and before Revis got here, had a habit of never turning their damn head and the ball would just go over their shoulder and drop in the receiver's hands because they never turn their freaking head. Battle, turn around. How many clues do you need that the ball's coming? Oh, trade bait? I can't imagine Peppers is trade bait. And wait a minute. So is Duggar coming in the game later? So Duggar's not even starting with the backups? Is he, if let me tell you, if Duggar comes in this game later, holy cow, does that look bad? And Jeff, if that was Duggar in coverage, that would have been a wide open touchdown. Jeff, absolutely. I mean, Pete, sorry. That was Peter. Absolutely. Woodson, the kids look good in camp. Yep, Peter DePadro, Ellis Hobbs. I mean, Jeff, the the old bull screaming at the television while the play's going on. Turn your head around. Turn it. And the cornerbacks would never turn their damn head. We go right by, like he's right by the ear into the receivers. Where they're in a position where if they turn their head, they literally could do this and get an interception. Oh, there's the ball. Nope, never turn their damn head. Peter Ellis Hobbs. How was that call? Like, hey, let's leave Ellis Hobbs, all 5'9" of them, one-on-one against the Giants. What was that dude's name? Like their tallest receiver, one-on-one on a blitz. Oh, what a terrible freaking call that was. Yeah, I saw that, Pete. Duggar was running with the scout team. Man, if Duggar didn't even start with the backups and he comes in the second half, oh, there's no shot of trading him. Every team's going to be like, well, we know you're cutting him, cut him, and we'll be the one to see if we can get him. So, oh gosh, how that has fallen. It's too bad that for Kraft that he didn't have Steve Viner on the team running player personnel last year, because I would have laughed in Elliott Wold's face when he suggested giving Duggar that contract, and I would have went to you, Kraft, and said, listen, you need to fire Wolf right away. He's lost his mind. He wants to give Duggar this contract, which is insanity. Could have saved you a lot of money there, Kraft. Plaxico Burress. Thank you, Pete. Yeah, that was a great call. Freaking Ellis Hobbs one-on-one with Plaxico Burress against a blitz in the damn red zone. Oi. So dumb. Let's see. Yep. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm still blown away. I don't mean to keep repeating myself that Keon White was in this game for 2 series. That's something going on there. I just don't see the benefit of that. Unless, like, maybe because the one thing about Keon White is he's a good bull rusher. He doesn't have many other moves. So I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go back and watch the replay to see if he's trying pass rush moves that I've never seen him do before. So I don't know if they're trying to get him work where he's in there, actually trying to build on his pass rushing move repertoire, because he's usually a bully. If he gets to the quarterback, it's because he's strong as hell and he just pushes the tackle over. Find it for GM. Well, I feel confident in what Vrabel's doing and Cowden, so I don't feel like they need me now, Jeff, but they could have used me the last 2 years. That's for damn sure. So Brown is out there. So it looks like he's with the starters. I did say that. I go, be on the lookout for that if they want to give him a good look, because I thought he looked decent last week. Like, it was against backups, but Bradbury looked like garbage, and Cole Strange looked like garbage. Lowe looked like garbage, but So did not. He handled himself pretty well. I didn't like that Lowe was starting at left tackle. Bryant, number 52, is in there now. That's the guy I want to back up at left tackle, not Verdian Lowe. Been there, done that. That guy is garbage. We saw the pain that we had to endure last year with him as our left tackle. So I'm going to be keying on my man, Marcus Bryant, number 52, possible future left tackle. If Will Campbell does not shine at left tackle, he can get kicked in the guard and hopefully be the best guard in the league. It's still not going to justify the 4th overall pick, but, it's better than being a complete bust. So Wilson's out there at left guard. Pete, I wish he was playing center. But if Brown is our starting center over Bradbury, I'll take it. I think it's terrible news that Bradbury didn't start this game. I think that basically says he's our starter, which is very unfortunate because that makes me really nervous going into week 1. Is Bradbury is our starting center. Super nervous. So, Vrabel, I love a lot of his decisions. I don't love all of them. I don't love the fact that he could have got Joe Tooney in here at left guard, and I think that would have been an amazing guy to have next to Will Campbell for a lousy 4th round pick, you know? Yes, Pete, that's what Jeff Tasker turned me on to. Brian was the left tackle. We said that earlier. I think you weren't in the chat yet. We were talking about that. But yeah, that was Jeff Tasker is like, hey, if this Membu guy, why isn't he playing left tackle? They must have a pretty good left tackle for him to be cemented on the right side. I'm like, let me check. And sure enough, they didn't have a lefty quarterback, which is a reason to put your best tackle at right. And then I started watching his highlight. I'm like, I like that kid. And then they drafted him. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad they got him. A good project. So you don't have to worry about that kid's measurables as far as length goes. He's like a million feet long. So a backup offense struggling against the Giants backups. Not great. Hope you didn't put money on the Patriots tonight. So because that bet's not looking good. Booty? I just saw Booty on special teams. That's interesting. I wasn't. Did anyone pay attention to the starting wide receivers when the game began? Because I didn't even look at that. I know a lot of guys are out. Chisholm got dinged up a little, so he was out. They're not playing Diggs, which I'm all on board for. I wouldn't want him to play Pop Douglas. I think he's too valuable. I think he's going to be their number one when all is said and done. Oh no, what am I thinking? No, that's a 6. I thought it was an 8. So that's Baker. Okay. That makes sense. That I would have thought that was really weird if Booty was out there for special teams in a game like this. So, but it was Webb and Giles, Pete. Thank you for that info. My Prime is glitching a little, so I'm nervous to go back and like if I'm gonna screw it up. So, well, you can tell we're on the road at the Giants game, showing this kid. What was I gonna say recently? What was I gonna say earlier? I forgot. Peppers is still playing. So weird. Yep. Like Matt said, Pete, absolutely. He's working as a gunner. I didn't hear the penalty because I got it muted. I don't know if it was on. If it was on Baker or on the Giants. I'm not really paying attention to little crap like that. Wow. Peppers is unless Keon White, it's a in shape thing. Is he still out there? I can't tell if that's a 9. Is that 99? 96. Okay, so he is out. White is out now. Nope, never mind. White is in. He is in there. There's something more to that. No glitch, old bull. You are still in your prime. 2 bulging discs will tell you that that is not the case anymore, Jeff. I am a shell of my old self. It takes everything I have just to stay in the shape that I normally am. And I have to deal with pain and all that stuff. I can't play pickleball anymore. I'm hoping to avoid surgery, but I am definitely not in my prime anymore. I'm gonna have to key on, no pun intended, key on White and see, is he trying some pass rushing moves I've never seen him do before? This just makes very, very bizarre. So that tells me he might be on the trading block. Keon White might be on the trading block. Like they're showcasing him or something. I just don't get why you'd have him out there. But then would that mean Peppers is too? I thought Peppers has had a good camp. It's gonna be an interesting few days to see what happens between cuts, any possible trades. Avoid surgery at all costs. I am, Pete. Trust me. I had one in my back. Now I need a second one. Pete, I've been to a chiropractor a million times. Um, I'm thinking of even trying um what is it called? I've tried injections that didn't work. Um, what is that they inject in you? I forgot the other things. I can't remember what the heck it is. I agree, Big Jeff. They must be showcasing him for a trade. I am blown away by this. Now they get him at the defensive tackle. So very weird. Battle is not having a good day. He is getting picked on left and right, and he was kind of a sleeper to make the team because he has size. He's a cornerback with some decent size. He is having a rough go of it. Every time I look up, that dude's getting burnt. So ugh. Stem cells. Stem cells are the other thing, but those are pretty expensive. I was told by my chiropractor that might be the solution for me. I've got an inversion table. I've been using that, and sometimes I feel like it's helping. Sometimes I feel like it's not really doing much. But don't worry, Pete. I'm the back thing. Oh yeah, Jeff. I just said it. Inversion table. I do have one. I got one right over there. So I've been using it for a few weeks. I'm gonna try to use it for a couple months, see if I notice anything. Oh, is that battle getting? Oh no, that's another guy. 39. Oh, Mapu! Mapu decided to grace us with his presence and play in his once a year game. Everybody look, there's a Mapu sighting. That freaking bum. Another one. Get him off my damn team. Freaking made out of paper mache, that dude. Made out of thin glass. Ugh. Big Jeff. They inject a gel now between discs. Forget the name, but insurance covers it. That's the thing. Like, I'll have to look into that, Jeff, because the stem cells insurance does not cover that. Pete, I tried the inversion table. It didn't help. Hopefully, a better result. Yeah, I read like mixed results, Pete. It helps some people, it doesn't help others. I found a really good one for $40 on Facebook Marketplace. So I'm like, I'll get it. If it doesn't work, I'll just sell it or throw it out. But I got a really good one for $40. So, you know, I'll give it a try for a couple months, see if I get results. Yeah, Big Jeff. Oh my God, we are old now. Yes, we are. We used to talk food and booze, non-medical. It's so bad. So sad. What are you gonna do? Well, what we got here? Oh, good little kick return here. Oh boy. Nice. That's the stuff you need. Want to try Webb to make it on the team. Or make it on the practice squad. A lot of these guys are playing for the practice squad. They know they have no shot at making a team, but they're hoping to get on the practice squad. Practice squad's bigger now. I think that's a good decision. You know, I don't think we're going to get poached too many players. Not players I'm going to miss anyway. Robbie got the gel in her knee. Not a fix, but helped. I mean, I'll try anything that's not surgery, Jeff. I tried the cortisone shots, and it was like the best 2 days I had, 2.5 days in a year. And I went to one of my friends was opening her business, and I just stood around and mingled for 2 hours, and that's all it took to start re-aggravating, and it's gone right back. Big Jeff rocking his soul again. It's not easy. I mean, luckily I'm a big mouth and I'm a chatterbox and I could keep going, but yeah, it's not easy without the young calf here. He's carried like he should. He carries the old man. So, but helps having you two in there. If you two weren't in here, Pete and Jeff, I'd be out of here. That's for sure. I don't know where my boy Jamie Mandela is. I don't know where the heck he is. Him and I are constantly messaging each other back and forth about the Patriots, but he's probably just watching the game. Might have forgot about the show. So But and I don't think you can Jeff, I don't think you can pay like Facebook, pay to advertise on YouTube to get your subscribers up. I think it's just not that I have money to do that, but I know on Facebook you can boost posts, put a little money down and more people see it supposedly. I've heard bad things about that though. I don't recommend um, dropping your money on something you want to promote. Glad you said it about the mouth. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Abdul Carter, we didn't get to see him tonight. Is he playing? Oh, did Abdul Carter play and I missed it? I would have keyed in on him. That's a guy, remember everyone? If he fell, a lot of people thought the Patriots are going to take him if he fell to 4. He's supposed to be the next Lawrence Taylor. I see him more as the next Micah Parsons. Just, you know, flies around like a bullet, bends well, good pass rush moves. I mean, he's in uniform. He must be playing tonight. Damn. Jeff, Pete, do you know if if he was in earlier or if he's waiting to get in? He's on the bench. We got our boy Marcus Bryant back at left tackle. Hopefully he shows well so we can get rid of Veridian Lowe. I don't want Veridian Lowe on this team. Hopefully Wilson turns it around. Yeah, Pete. Abdul Carter got smoked on that block last week. I saw it. Oh, he got blown. Like, that's what Trevian Henderson used to do to guys in college, our new running back, blowing guys up like that. He did. He got humbled pretty quick. Welcome to the NFL, kid. Jeff Tasca, I don't know. I just want to comment. Algorithm, YouTube, mofos. Absolutely. I wonder if he hasn't played yet. Has he been a disappointment? Does anyone know? Has Abdul Carter been a bit of a letdown or disappointment? He was supposed to be him and Hunter was supposed to be the only surefire things in this past draft. Like no can't lose prospects. Third down? Oh, they're using him as a third down specialist right now. So maybe he's struggling against the run guys. That's my guess. So let's see what he does here. Oh, he's going against Veridian Lowe. Woolridge better watch his back. Oh, watch his front side. Unless he gets help here from Woolridge. Woolridge got rid of it quick. You feel for Lowe? I mean, he just was not good, Jeff. If we didn't have Marcus Bryant, I'd be like, you got to have someone as a backup, Jeff. So keep Lowe. But I've seen enough of Bryant to be your guy to be happy enough with having him as our backup left tackle to Campbell. I just don't know if I want Lowe taking up a roster spot. They're trying him at right tackle. I mean, I don't want Jacobs on this team. So hopefully, he makes the team over Jacobs. Oh no, who missed that? Was it the kid? Was it the kid or Romo? I missed the number. Ah, the kid missed it. Uh-oh. Him and Romo are in a I guess Romo's been really good too. Like those two are battling for their lives. But if it's a tie, they're gonna keep the kid because they use a 6th-round pick on him. You know, get Romo on the practice squad, the nice big extended practice squad. So they're using Abdul Carter as a third down pass rush specialist with the backups right now. Interesting. They must not like him against the run. He must have like he's not setting the edge and all that stuff yet, which it's early. He's a rookie. But I would have said every down back with all the hype of him coming out. Like absolutely every down back. But apparently he's got a ways to go if they're only bringing him in on third down pass rush situation. Yeah, we have the awesome draft pick, Caden Wallace from Wolf. Pete, you might have missed that too. We brought him up as well. People like a lot of Patriot roster projections have him making the team, and they had him out there in the fourth quarter last. That's never a good sign. So, Pete, I don't care if he's a third round pick. He's not out there now. I don't think he's making the team. it looks like he's gonna be playing in the second half again, like with the third and fourth stringers. So I just haven't heard anything positive about Caden Wallace. And Greg Bedard, who I used to write for, he loves his offensive line play, writes about him all the time. So I'm reading it all the time because I am a member of Boston Sports Journal, and I haven't heard him say anything good about Caden Wallace. I don't see how he makes the team as a guard, not a tackle. They don't even want to put him at tackle. Apparently, they were so disgusted with his play last year at tackle. They're like, "Well, we're gonna give you one shot at guard. You can't make it work. You're gone." Big Jeff, hey, next time you and young Cav finish the draft grades. I know, I know. We got too busy chatting, and Patriots have 3 Fs. They've had a really good draft. I love the draft they had, but they had a lot of picks, and 3 of them are Fs as far as I'm concerned. Maybe the big pregame show of game one or something like that, or if we have a season outlook show, we could go back over that again if we put something together, the young Cav and I. So let's see. White is still out there. Peppers is still out there. So weird. So strange. He said he looked okay at guard, but yeah, Wolf wanted Wallace to be a left tackle. Yeah. That didn't even come close to happening. That's how bad Wolf sucks. Absolutely, Pete. The worst. Disgusting that he has a spot on this team. Oh, look at Mapu against a third stringer. Broke up a play. Good play, though. He did his job there. There is something afoot with White and Peppers playing, man. There's going to be some questions asked. What is going on with that? So it's either a conditioning thing or a trade thing. Are they on the chopping block? I mean, we're not talking about getting cut. They're both decent players. Like, no, that shouldn't be the case. I mean, Peppers makes a little more sense. He's been out, so maybe they're just trying to get him some reps before the season. He didn't play in the Vikings joint practice. He didn't play last week against the Vikings, so that could be it. Big Jeff, I agree. It's weird who Pats play in fourth quarter, but other teams resting their top 20, 30 guys, and Pats play starters. Desperate almost, yeah. I mean, look what happened to the Bengals last year, Jeff. They didn't play any starters, any snaps, and the crappy Patriots went out and beat their ass. Oh, pardon my French, on the first game because they just weren't ready. Pete, if you probably don't remember, right? But we had a post game show, the last game of the year, when they fired Mayo, and I went on the show absolutely ecstatic that they fired Mayer, but just as pissed that I hadn't heard that Wolf was still, wasn't fired yet. So I'm with you. That dude's done nothing to win me over. I don't want to hear for a second he has any say in that draft room or with these free agents. That dude is just a toady getting paid. And Kraft, again, doesn't want to eat that contract because he just signed him to a long contract. And I don't believe for a second that guy has an actual say in who is brought in or who's let go as a player. Wolf is an absolute bonehead. He's a bum. And I literally could walk in to a draft or a free agency period after 24 hours of internet research and do a better job than he's done the last 2 years. Not counting this past draft or this past free agency. So I'm Pete. I'm still ticked off too that he's on this team. Like, get him out of here. What says that ball out? That ball is out. Who had a nice strip there? Oh, Gibbons, our backup linebacker. That's one position we're paper thin at, linebacker. Wow, middle linebacker. Oh, something happens to Spillane or Ellis, who I've kind of liked this preseason from what I've seen. We are in trouble. Gibbons is like kind of an old school linebacker, not great in coverage, not comfortable with him starting. And we all know how I feel about Tavai. Get that whine ass out of here. I don't want anything to do with him. So let's see. Anything I could pick up on here? It's going to be fascinating to see why some of these players are still playing, though. What is the holdup? Well, Jeff, I think what happened is I think when they hired Mayo, I think they extended Wolf Kraft. So Kraft, an idiot, probably gave Wolf a like 5-year deal at a couple million a year or something, and he doesn't want to just simply eat it. Wolf, he's probably hoping like, hey, just can you just let Wolf in the room and let him give you insight? And Vrabel was probably like, yeah, fine. And then Wolf's probably like, hey, what do you think of? And Vrabel's like, the adults are talking. All right. And Cowden's like, please, we'll just have a seat over there and we'll send you up to the podium to talk, you know, when we need you. Like, beat it. Oh, so is that Minor who got burnt? So that kid, I don't talk about him much. I don't see any way he makes the roster. I mean, you think Battle's having a bad night tonight? Minor has had a bad preseason game every game. Like that dude has. You go back and watch the Washington Minnesota game. I swear there must have been 5 catches on him each game, and we're talking him playing a half in preseason. Yeah, but Wolf there in 2020, but I think he extended him, Jeff. I wouldn't bet my life on it, but I think he signed him to an extension, and I don't think Kraft wants to eat that money. I mean, I might have to do research on it. I just want that guy off the team, but because I don't want him ever accidentally influencing Cowden or Vrabel to take a player or cut a player because I don't trust anything that guy says. Oh, that's a push off there. Poor kid Minor, a victim of a push off. I mean, it's not a huge push off, but still illegal. Jameis Winston. Torched Belichick a few years ago, remember? Jameis Winston with the Saints at home. Jeff, I like Winston too. I do. When they used the 4th-round pick on him, I was like, I don't know if I'm crazy about that with all the safeties, but he's a true free deep safety like Devin McCourty, who comes up in the box once in a while, and we needed that. Because even when we thought Duggar and Peppers were our guys, they're both terrible at free safety, deep safety. They're guys that need to play in the box and are very suspect at covering. And that was one of Woodson's strong suits. Is he's a pretty good cover guy. And I guess he has a couple extra years of college, so he's pretty seasoned too. So we'll have to see. Well, let's see what the offensive line looks like. What do we got? Still the first quarter. Wow. Guys, I'm just going to stick around for the first quarter. I'm not going to do the first half. It's just hard to talk about like sheer backups. I'm starting to rant about old things that we've all talked about a million times. Interesting though, they had the kid in first, and they're bringing Jameis Winston in second. Does that mean the kid is leapfrog Winston, and he's the backup quarterback to Russell Wilson? Look at Watts. So the Patriots have, if you're confused, they have 2 number 30s out there. Patriots have a 30 defensive back, DJ James, and a number 30 running back. What is he doing? What is that dude doing? I heard that Dart guy is kind of weird. What do you think of Swinson and Williams? I love hearing that Williams is getting constant separation. That makes me feel good. So the more he sharpens his routes and learns the game more, I feel like again he could be uh, a poor man Hill, that scumbag Hill in Miami. Swinson, I've been keying on him, Jeff. Honestly, I haven't been that impressed. So I was impressed. I loved where we drafted him. Like he fell in the draft. Doesn't mean he's not going to make it. He's not going to be a player. But so far in the games, I'm not super impressed with him yet. So, oh, Wallace is finally in the game. Okay. Jacobs. So that's good. I want Jacobs gone. The fact that that Ver- that Marcus Bryant was in first before him and Verdi and Lowe was in means that Jacobs is pushed down the depth chart. That's good. I want Jacobs gone. He was another disaster last year. Not his fault. He just can't play. Big Jeff Winston is just so known. It doesn't matter. Yeah, 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, 25 interceptions, no playoffs. Oh, yeah. Winston is he's just a complete wild card. You don't know what you're going to get with that dude. Really talented when he was younger, just very Brett Favre-ish, but he just wasn't able to put it together like Brett Favre. You know, Brett Favre, for all of his bonehead plays, just made a lot of awesome plays. With Winston, it was like for every great play, he had an awful play. You have to have like 2 or 3 great plays and then one awful play. You're not going to make it in the league as a starter. Man, why are we doing these boring runs? Can we see some pass protection? Can we see Cannon Wallace and Cole Strange do some pass protection on some deep dropbacks? Can they hold their block against third string guys, for like 3 or 4 seconds? Could we see that? We're just gonna run down the clock. That tells us very little. Like you should know by now if guys could run block. It's all about pass blocking. That's what's important. Is City so out of the game, I wonder? I don't know if anyone saw him on the last one. Was that the end of the quarter? Mm-mm-mm. Or was that a timeout? What the? No, it was a timeout. Oh no, end of the quarter. All right, guys. Jeff, I think you're the only one left. I think Peter might have bailed. I want to thank you and Peter so much for jumping in. Rob Hendrickson, thank you. Devon Mitchell, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. And we'll keep you guys posted when we're gonna do a show. We're gonna be doing the pregame show and the postgame show once the regular season starts. So, hopefully our Patriots are back to their winning ways and we're all excited and back in the playoffs next year, making some noise. So all right, guys. Big Jeff, always great talking to you, my friend. And you guys take care. Love you.